Hello and welcome. My name is Peace Mitchell, and I'm co founder of Women Changing the World Press. Before we begin, I would like to pay my respects to the traditional owners and elders of the land that I live and work on, the people of Mamu country in North Queensland. I'd also like to acknowledge and pay my respects to traditional owners and elders, past and present, right across Australia and the Torres Strait. Well, I'm excited to be celebrating the launch of our latest book, Dreams and Determination. And to help me celebrate, I have one of my fabulous co authors joining me. Please come on screen with me, Lily.
Hi.
It's wonderful to have you here. For people who haven't met you before, I would love you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about you and the work that you do.
Yeah, sure. So, thank you so much for having me and being part of the book. I'm Lily. I have two businesses. One is a handmade jewelry and accessories design company called Lily Design, and the other is a global design sourcing and consulting company called Lily and Co. So, for Lily and Co, we work with big brands across the globe, including Zara, Target. Forever New, all different sort of big, well-known brands. And Lily Design is more of my my passion, where I get to put everything that I want to create without being sort of told what to do into one into creations. And then I'm a mother of two now, so my recent addition is only sort of 2.5 weeks old. So I'm in that lovely cuddles and sort of lovely baby phase. And my other daughter is 6 years old, so she's at school, and yeah, and being very helpful, which is lovely.
Ah, that's amazing. So, your chapter is called Polished by Pressure. Can you tell us why you chose this title for your chapter?
Yes, so I've experienced a lot of pressure and different sort of situations over the time. The reason why I started my business was because actually I got made redundant, and at the time it was like devastating. I sort of felt, I know redundancy is something that, it's a company decision, but as a designer, I'd never been made redundant before, and it really sort of took me sort of 5 or 6 months to kind of come out of feeling quite sort of down about it, actually, and it sort of really sort of hit me. And but the thing is, I've been wanting to have my own business for years, and I think without having that bad sort of experience and gone through that situation, I probably still wouldn't have started my business, because I had amazing opportunities. I've lived across the world, I've traveled the world, I've worked with amazing brands across the world. I've got designers in all different parts of the world. And so I love, I think I saw a reference before about that diamonds can't be formed unless there's that pressure, and that sort of really struck a bit of a chord for me. And I thought that's a really nice way to chapter, to what to write towards. There's been lots of like bad things that have happened, but as long as you sort of as long as you treat them in a not as a bad thing, and that you failed, like as long as you sort of fail forwards, I feel like it's not a failure. It's then like it's like almost a growth opportunity. um
Yes, that's a beautiful metaphor, polished by pressure. And I really loved your chapter, particularly when you spoke about your childhood and what a beautiful creative space it was. Can you tell us more about your childhood and your parents and your grandparents?
Yeah, sure. So I was super lucky in the sense that, I mean, I always knew I was creative when I was like, from a very young age. But really, my family have just been a massive inspiration and constant. They're, it was constant creativity when I was growing up. So my grandparents, they were teachers actually for art, and my grandpa used to shear the sheep. My grandma would card the wool. She would then spin it on a spinning wheel that my grandpa had made out of wood, and then they would, between them, they would dye it from plants from the garden. My grandpa would weave it into tapestries, and my grandma would make felt artwork, or she would also weave tapestries, or she would do knitting, and that was one of the many things that they did, and sort of taught us as kids. Every time we went on like family holidays, or to go and stay with the grandparents when our parents went on holiday, they would be showing us different ways of, sort of being creative with nature as well, very sustainable as well. And yeah, it was just a beautiful, and then my mom is very creative, so like whenever I had friends over, we would always be doing like paper mache, or decorating candles, or marbling, or anything creative. And so I think from up, probably by the time I was a teenager, I feel like I've had to go at like a lot of different creativity projects and things, which was really beautiful. And I think that's why I am who I am today as well, and why I just thrive off making things and doing sort of anything that's slightly out there and a bit different, just really getting creative.
I love that so much, and it sounds like such a beautiful way to live as a child and to experience all those different mediums and just be free to be creative. But your life hasn't all been easy and sunshine and rainbows. There have been difficult times that you've faced, and you talked about a few of these moments in your chapter, and particularly your journey to motherhood. Can you tell us more about this and the lessons that you learnt along the way?
Sorry, it cut out a bit. Did you say with motherhood? The chapter about the motherhood part?
Yes, your journey to
Yes.
motherhood.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we always knew that we got married in, my husband and myself met in China, and we were together for 3 years before we moved to Australia. And then in Australia, I think in 2015 we then got married. We flew back to Spain and got married, and my parents live in Spain, so it was, yeah. And then we wanted to start a family from 2015, and we tried multiple, well, yeah, we tried for 3 years basically, to get pregnant, and it took us a very long time with our first daughter, and we were looking at whether we were going to have IVF. We're looking at all the different sort of options. So it was very, I think a big issue as well was that in 2015 I got made redundant. So then there was stress. Luckily, just after we got married, so there was a lot of stress involved with that. My husband was just opening a restaurant, so when we came back, he had all that stress, and I think stress actually ended up being like a massive reason why we couldn't get pregnant. That's what it feels like it was, because then sort of 3 years later, my husband decided to sell the restaurant, and we went on holiday, and you could see that he relaxed about it, and he was like, right, it's just money. It's more important to be, happy. I'm going to leave the restaurant. I've sort of, we're moving on. And by that stage, I'd started my business, so I wasn't so stressed. And on that holiday, we fell pregnant, and it was almost, I sort of almost knew as soon as we, as soon as as soon as we sort of conceived, almost like I sort of knew that I was pregnant. And I can't explain that feeling. It was just like, I think everything was just so in place, and it was just like, we were relaxed, and yeah. And then we did the test 2 weeks later, and we were pregnant, and then we've now got our beautiful daughter from that, which was, yeah, really beautiful. But stress was a massive reason, I think, and something that then really has opened my eyes going forwards, because yeah, for business and for life and family, going forwards as well.
Amazing. And I think that, yes, stress does play such a big part in it, and it gets in the way of all sorts of things. Um, you talk about the fact that you use visualization and intention setting to help you with your journey to your second pregnancy. Can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so I've always had, well, not always had, but very early on in the business, I had a business coach, and she was actually, she used to be part, well, yeah, she taught me about frequency basically, and visualization, and really sort of setting those intentions and like what you want, and by setting sort of what you want, and actually just the hardest thing is to know what you want. And I think once you have decided where your goal is and where you're wanting to go to, you start saying yes and no to the right things that kind of get you to that end goal. And the beautiful thing for our second daughter, I had a few complications through my first pregnancy, and so I was actually in the process of going to the hospital, trying to have surgery, getting sort of fixed so that my body was like ready for the second daughter, for the second child. Um, but it was, it was already 6 years on. I'm now 42. It was sort of either like, it was sort of a bit of a now or never. Like I needed to make that decision. So I went on a retreat with the My Mummies group, because Laura, from My Mummies, is my business coach now, and she did this beautiful like visualization where we had to like set one intention for the year, one goal, and in this time next year we would achieve that. And we wrote a letter to ourselves, sort of congratulating ourselves, and we visualized having like a photograph. We kind of dropped the photograph down to the ground, and like made it feel really real, and it was very emotional. There was a lot of us that were crying through parts of it, and sort of really coming to terms with what we really wanted. And mine was that I've always wanted a second child. I wanted to have two kids, and I felt like it was a bit of a sort of now or never, like I need to make that sort of choice. And so we then also, after that visualization and after the retreat, we had to go and spend an hour by ourselves before we went back home to our families, to just kind of unwind and soak up the whole, the whole retreat that we had. And in that, I went to Mornington. There was like a market there. I went into a little shop that happened to be a felt shop, and I picked up like a little mobile that was a mobile sheep. And because that was going to be my symbol, that was like I wanted another baby, and this was going to be the little, the mobile that would hang above her cot, or his cot. I didn't know if it was a boy or girl, obviously. And yeah, so then I think it was about 4 weeks after that retreat, we got pregnant with our second daughter. And so it totally surprised us. Like our first daughter, we tried for so long, and sort of no down to the day, I think, when we conceived. So romantic. But like this daughter, it was really like, we didn't expect it to happen so quick, but I really think I just knew that I wanted this, this other family member, and it just all aligned and happened super quick. So yeah, hence not being able to plan. So it was a bit later so that I could attend all these awards and and the book launch. But yes, it was really beautiful. So I really, that's even more, that's given me even more reason to believe in visualization now.
Oh, absolutely. And what a beautiful story. And congratulations on your new baby as well. So
Thank
beautiful.
you. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story in Dreams and Determination. I really loved your chapter. And thank you for being here and chatting with me today. I've enjoyed our chat as well.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me and letting me share my story as well. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're very welcome. Well, thank you to everybody for tuning in as well. If you'd like to grab your copy of Dreams and Determination, you can find it at wcwpress.com. We will see you next time. Thanks again, Lee. It was great catching up with you. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Bye for now.
Thank you. Thanks.